Hello, Culture Matters Podcast. Buckle up. I got a good one today. Before I introduce our guest, here's a quote just for this episode. It all depends on the people involved in it. There are a million great ideas, but not everybody can turn a great idea into a successful idea. Glenn Campbell,
I
our
love
guest
that.
today, great friend of the Culture Matters podcast. If you haven't heard episode 427, where I got that quote, season 36, get your butt over there after this episode. God, I don't even know what to say, but here, let me try it. 2+ decades running this unbelievable, massive brand. I mean, anybody I share, oh, lids, everybody knows about it. But the coolest part of Glenn's story with his co-founder and team is that they started in that little, that beginning business with nothing and turned nothing into this amazing empire built on people. So I'm honored to have you back on the show. If there's any guests that exemplify culture and that it matters, it's you. So God bless Mark Perkins for introducing us. Thanks for coming
No
back to
doubt.
the Culture Matters podcast, Glenn
Yeah, yeah.
Campbell. And
Thanks
and
for
the
having
new
me back.
business that we got to tell people about because that
Sure, sure.
really make my
Love it.
cap.
Yeah, make my cap. Well, thanks for having me back. It's funny because we were going back and forth this morning. You shot me the episode again. We just talked. I listened to it a couple times when it came out last July, and it's always fun because you're driving down the road. I drive a ton, so I told you I'm heading off tomorrow on a 7 hour drive, then another 7 hours, another seven. I love driving. It's therapeutic for me. I've
Mm.
always done it, and but I love grabbing stuff like this. So I was listening to it. So I've been in and out today, 10-minute drives, 15-minute drives around town, and I've listened to it. It was fun. What makes me laugh when I listen to myself say what I say because I really don't even know what I say. But that quote was a good one because it's the absolute truth. I mean, it's all about people.
What, because that seems common sense and like okay, but where do people mess it up? Because how many businesses have I gone around where it's almost palpable, you can't even breathe when you're in there?
I
Where do we
know.
get it wrong? Is it the tie, taking the tie too tight?
I think some people like to hear themselves talk, right? And some people like to be the guy or the girl. Some people they just hold on too tight, man. I just spoke at the university here last week and I told the kids, you know what? You can be successful in life if you don't have an ego. Just don't have an ego. Who cares if you're the founder? Who cares if you're Jay, the guy that started a podcast? Does it really matter if who cares if you're the best player on the team? Who cares if you're Miss America or what? Who cares? I mean, the bottom line is, you're the same as everybody else. We all put our pants on the same way, right? An old phrase that your dad used to say. And at the end of the day, people go, "Oh, Glenn, I'm sorry, I don't want to step on your toes." I go, "I have small feet. You can't step on my toes. Come on in, man. Get close. Tell me. Surround yourself with smarter people than you, and you will be successful." And so I do think where a lot of people go wrong is, it's their idea, man. So they feel like they've got to have all the answers. And quite frankly, man, I didn't have very many answers, but I sure had a lot of people around me that did, and I was able to motivate those people and get them to work for me and get the best out of them. And I think that's what Perkins does, right? I mean,
Mm.
I know he doesn't know everything because he's got a million like you. You know what I've learned about podcasters? I think I could do it. I don't know though. I don't know. I like being on them. I don't know if I
It'd be
want to run
great.
one,
Yeah.
but what you do is you learn, man. You're interested in learning. You've had 400 and over 400 podcasts, 500 podcasts, right?
We just released 840
Hey,
four today, I think it was
holy
today.
so 800 plus. You'll be scaring 1,000 podcasts. Look at the stuff that you've
August
done
28th will be 1,000, yeah.
and look at what you've learned. Look at the people you've met. I think if nothing else comes of it, look at that. And I can't name another person I know that has sat and talked to 1,000 different people.
Well, keep in mind about 11% of that is me talking to myself.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay.
Really? Wait, but what do you, yeah, what do you think as an entrepreneur for all of these years and the rooms that you've been in and what you've done with this great talent you talk about? What is valuable about talking to people
I,
at
I,
that
I
volume?
I,
Why? Why is that valuable?
I think, and I've had to learn this. You go through those. They put you through those classes where you learn about yourself, and their executive level classes. And what always came back to me is you don't listen enough. You like to talk. I haven't ever been to marriage counseling. Thank God. My wife's a sweetheart, but I know that. And over the years, I've learned that listening is such an acquired skill. And some people are great at it. Some people like me like to, I think I have you start talking, I try to finish a sentence. You start talking, I have an answer quickly. The older I get, the more I, I intentionally listen, and then stop for a second and then answer a question. So I think for you, you've talked to 1,000 people on podcasts, just listening to what they have to say. You're asking questions for a lot of different reasons, but because you want to learn, because you want your people that listen to learn. Um, and the fact that you've had 1,000 different ideas, you could ask the same question to all 1,000 people and get 1,000 answers, right? Depends on we're a lot of us, when you talk about communication, we're going to say X. When you talk about leadership, we'll say Y. But I'll bet you've asked what are characters of a leader? I bet you've gotten 1,000 of them, and okay, 500 of them overlap. But every once in a while you'll get one. You go, I never thought of that, but that's why do you say that? And then they go on and I listened to our last podcast. You asked some really good questions, which is, you know, I'll talk, you ask a question. And based on what I talk about, you'll ask another question. And those are good people. Those are good interviewers. That's a great skill. So you've honed your skill over the last 1,000 episodes, I can tell.
I appreciate that. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. How did you surround yourself with talent in the beginning?
Yeah, that's I was blessed because Foot Locker was the breeding ground for me. I met these guys in college. I love the stripes. I love sales. And so I went to work for Foot Locker for 8 years, and man, we were good. And they allowed us to hire people and train people, and the people above me were outstanding. I can still remember the Jim Harrises and the Gary Wallaces. Um, Pete. And there were so many. Pete Hammer was one of my district managers. There were so many good leaders that I had
Wow.
that that man, that was when I was young. I was 23, 24, 25, 26, very impressionable. Kevin Fisk was another one in Evansville, Indiana. I just had some great leaders that held me accountable. They threw me in the deep end and made me swim. They did things that really made me who I am. And then I took those skills, and when we started Hat World, I poached a lot of those people. There was a wanted poster of me at Foot Locker's offices in New York City because I was poaching. I bet the first 100 employees, 60 of them were Foot Locker employees. And we didn't offer more money. We just offered them an opportunity. So
Um, how did you reach out? Or did you ever have doubt? Like, oh, I don't want to reach out, like apprehension. I don't want to reach out to this person. They might have forgotten me or they don't care.
I re I reached out to anybody and everybody. I was a manager trainer, so I got to train a lot of people, and I hopefully mentored them, and I knew how good they were. When they left my store, they'd go get their own store. So they were store managers. And so I had a bunch of, I don't want to say mini me's, but I had a bunch of people used to have this plaque that Foot Locker gave you, and you'd get a name on a chain every time you trained somebody to become a manager. And hell, my chain was 20 people long. So I had 20 people I had trained to be managers. And plus I knew a lot of other people. And so I just went after the people I knew that were good, that loved retail, because you got to love retail. It's not an easy business, but and then those people had to be able to train other people. And I knew that I had trained them in a way that I liked. And so, yeah, no, I reached out to anybody and then the great thing about that, we talked about in the first time we talked, you find your apostles and you preach the gospel, the core values of what you want: integrity, honesty, be on time, treat the customer, customer service is number one. You find your core values, and then you teach those core values, and then those people go on and they spread that gospel of according to lids. And and a Mark Perkins was a guy that was there for 6 or 7 or 8 years, and I knew when he went to train somebody in Ohio that they were going to be awesome, because that was Mark Perkins was a reflection on
Wow.
me, and he was part of me. And then I'd send turn somebody else loose in Virginia and somebody else loose in Florida. So you could have went to any of 1,000 stores, and 990 times you had a good experience. Yeah, there were once in a while you'd come across an issue, you'd find a bad situation, but by and large, you felt really good about the people. I talked to somebody the other day. They said, "Hey, man, we went." Oh, buddy of mine was in Indianapolis for a wood convention. He lives here in Cape Wood convention, and he was downtown at a hotel. Lids was doing their annual manager meeting. Well, hell, I started the annual manager meeting back in the day. We'd invite all the DMs in. So they
Wow.
probably had 70 or 80 or 100 people from the field and from the office at Lids. And he walked into the hotel lobby, and he saw some people with Lids gear on. He goes, "Hey, you guys know a guy by the name of Glenn Campbell?" And they go, "Oh, dude, Glenn Campbell, are you kidding me? Man, one of them was from Canada and one of them was from somewhere else."
Wow.
They go, "Yeah, we love Glenn, man. We miss that guy. Tell him we said hi." So there's still some of my folks are
Amazing.
there, and I've been gone 6 years. So I don't
How do
talk to a lot of
people
people there, but
how do people mess up training? Could we have a lot of managers listening to this or leaders in development?
well, I think we man, I tell you, Foot Locker had a great training guide, and then we took that thing and we moved it towards what we liked, and geared it more towards what we liked. I think it's real simple. In retail, I can't speak for everything, but in retail, man, the customer is the only thing that matters. So if you can empower your people to run the store like it's theirs. And that's what I always tell people.
Mm.
But I go, remember, somebody comes back and they got a stain on their hat, and they bring it back and they go, "Hey man, I need to get a new hat. This hat's got a stain on it." And you know that they probably didn't have a stain on it when it left, or it didn't have a rip on it when it left. And you're going, "Nah, sorry, man. Do you have a receipt?" "No, I don't, man, but I'm a lid shopper. You can look me up." "Well, sorry, man. We don't give refunds or new hats on stuff that's been worn." And I always told them, I go, "It's not your product, number one. It's mine. I own the hats. You don't. You're working for Lids." And I go, "What if you flip that to that customer who knows they're kind of pulling a fast one on you anyway?" And you go, "Yeah, dude, what do you want? Right? What do you want a new hat? Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, I know I want the same one. I just this one's dirty." And you do it, and you take the old one back, and all of a sudden you're talking to them, and hell, they might buy another hat. They're certainly going to go somewhere else and say, "Man, you ain't gonna believe this shit. I ruined my hat."
Mm.
Back in their thought, no way would they give me another. They gave me another hat, dude. I am always going to shop at Lids. So to me, even at Make My Cap right now today, that lesson, I am working with three people, my three employees that are there now. Um, they are graphic designers, but they also have to be people friendly because we have a store, and they are learning the art of customer service. And it is hard because people email nowadays. We'll do everything we can. We get the logo right. We spend time with people, and somebody gives us a 2-star review because the hat was floppy. Well, hell, you ordered an unstructured cap. It is floppy,
Mm.
but it's not us. So personally, I reach out to every five
Wow.
star review. I personally reach out to every 5-star review, thank them. Anything that's under 5 stars, I reach out and ask why. If it's something like that. So I reached out to the guy, and the guy goes, "Dude, I can't believe the founders text or emailing me. I love Beth was awesome. I love the design. I just picked the wrong hat." And I go, "Well, dude, you got 25 of them. I tell you what I'll do. I'll give you hats at my cost. You want a different hat?" He goes, "No, no, I'll give these away. It's a Lions Club. It's our club." I go, they'll probably like them. I was wanting a structured cap, but hell, I ordered the wrong one. I go, "Well, dude, I want you to be happy." He goes, "No, I'm happy." The founder reached out. The guy changed his
Wow.
star review to a 5-star review this morning. I reached out to him again, said, "Sheldon, dude, you didn't have to change that." He goes, "No, dude, I really didn't mean to give you a 5-star review. I was just pissed at myself for ordering the wrong hats." So I just want to,
Wow.
and so my people are going, they've had some difficult situations to deal with. Difficult in their mind. In my mind, it's not difficult. Somebody calls and says, man, the art proof you sent me doesn't look like the hats you sent me. Although they have to approve we send you an art proof, you approve it. You got a big BA on your hat. If you get it and you go, that's too big. Well, hell, you're the one that sent us the art. You approved it. I mean, but at the end of the day, I'll look at somebody and go, you know what? You're not happy. I'm not happy. What do you want to do? Well, I'd like that to be lighter on the side. No problem. We'll do it. And, yeah, we eat 12 hats, but by and large, people, if you do that, you win. And yes, you will eat some product. You bite your tongue. You got to swallow a little pride. It goes back to the ego thing. Who cares? They're my hats because I own the company. Just take and what people don't understand is how much effort and time it takes to go back and forth with you. You're not happy. You get to me, I tell you nothing I can do about it. You go, well, that's bullshit. I'm gonna give you a 1-star review, and I go, I don't give a shit. You're an idiot. Okay, well, you're an idiot. I mean, you know what the easiest thing is to go, hey Jay, what do you need? Well, you're gonna give me, yeah, I'm giving you a hat. What do you want? Well, I got the
Mm.
same one. I just want a white hat. I didn't want a dark hat. Okay, no problem, man. Well, I'll have it out to you in 2 weeks. Let me know when it gets there. We'll take care of you. I'm telling you, that's a win. That's as cheap as advertising you'll ever get. It's taking care of a disgruntled. It's every issue is an opportunity to gain customers, and it just like I one of our employees, she spent 3 hours, it ruined her day. And I said, man, what if the very first email you got from this customer, you just took care of them, or you picked up the phone and called them and said, hey, what do you want? It'd have been a 10-minute call. They would have shit their pants because you took care of them. And all of a sudden, you're happy because you did something cool. They're happy because you did something cool that nobody else will do.
Mm.
Plus, you're human. Everybody else gets an AI bot. We're real. And you know what? Your day's not ruined. And who cares? So we ate $100 worth of hats. We'll make that up in spades.
What do you think that can do to the employee to employee relations?
I, I think it's in, I think it's incredible when you empower your people to make decisions and always make the customer happy. Always make the customer happy. So whatever you just look at it and go, is that decision what I would want if I was calling in? What outcome would I want if I was calling in? That's the outcome you give them, and then the rest takes care of itself. Yes, there are going to be times where you just can't make somebody happy, and it's going to happen. And you know what? Worst case scenario, you refund the money, have them keep the hats, and call it a day, and you move on. But those are so few and far between. The restaurant industry, I had a buddy just opened up a new restaurant called the Twisted Biscuit. It's a chain. He's got
Hmm.
now got two of them. They're awesome. I ate there this morning, and I guaranteed he has to deal with that he has a bunch of restaurants, McAllister's and
Wow.
different things. And at the end of the day, if the one thing you can teach your employees is no matter what, you'll never get in trouble if you make somebody happy. If somebody comes up and they didn't like their sweet tea at McAllister's and they want a Diet Coke, dump the tea out and give them a Diet Coke. Don't even question it. Sorry about that. I'll check the tea to see if maybe we didn't put enough sugar in it. They come back and they don't like their food. Man, I'm happy to refund you or I can fix it again. Whatever. If you make somebody happy, you'll never get in trouble. What's going to be a problem is if you piss somebody off, they leave there, they give us a bad review or whatever the case may be. That's the problem. So,
Mm.
but again, time and time and time and time and time again, you still see it happening. I'll go in restaurants, you'll hear issues, you'll go, into different stores and people go, we don't take returns. Okay, I guess if that's the way you want to do it. I just don't think it's a smart way to do retail.
What do you see our culture going more that way or the opposite way?
Unfortunately, and this is one of the things that's been fun about starting over with a small team of people, is that when we sit around and talk, which is damn near every day because you don't have to come in early because there's four of you working and you can all see each other from the same spot, is just talking about that where let's let's be let's be human. If somebody emails us, let's email them back. There's no AI bot. Yes, we use AI in our customer service. I can't remember what our bot's name is. We call him something, Charlie, or Beth calls him something, right? Oh, Charlie said something wrong to a customer again because you're training. AI is trainable, right? So you can give them the 100 questions people might ask about hats if they call in, but there's going to be the 101st question you weren't ready
Yep.
for, the 102nd, and they learn, right? So you send something in and the bot doesn't read it right and says something really stupid back. We read those and we reach back out and say, Jay, sorry, our bot Charlie was incorrect. We do that in green, blah blah blah, whatever. So we kind of correct the bot. But what we do is we reach out to people, and I email people, I'll call people, so people can get a real person if they want to, either email or chat or in person if they want to on a phone. And I think that is so rare today. Everybody wants to grow their business fast. Get online. Hey,
Mhm.
boop, we're online. We're making hats. Okay, now what? Well, I don't want to have any people, so we're going to use AI and it's all going to be AI. I hate that shit. I buy socks from some company I found on TikTok and I get them and they don't fit. You know what I do? I just I'll reach out, and if it's an AI bot or if I get any guff, you know what I do? I throw the socks away and I never shop again. And so it
Mm.
doesn't matter what it is. I will, and so I just think
Wow, that's interesting. The company is losing its feedback loop for R&D, for innovation, for
everything. And I think if we can, I don't know how big we'll grow this. We're right on plan. We're actually the start of this year has been really good. We might be profitable year two, which would be ahead of schedule.
amazing.
But more than anything, the 5-star reviews and the feedback we're getting are very encouraging. And so much of it is because we take the time to reach back out to people. And the reviews are love the quality was great. Love my hats. The customer service was awesome. Bridget did a nice job. Or Trace did a nice job. Or Beth. They call out my employees, and I only have three other. But they
Wow.
call out my employees every time because my employees emailed them 6 or 8 times back and forth, or they called them, or they text them, or whatever the case may be. And so when the employees are getting named on a 5-star review, you're doing something right. Most of the
Culture.
time on a 5-star review, all I do is hit 5 stars, love the hat, 5 stars. These people know who in the hell they're dealing with. And that's, you tell me, but if I'm ordering hats and I'm a small business and I ordered 12 hats and I'm going to do that every month or 2 months or whatever the case, and then I got a baseball team and I've got some event that I'm doing for a golf outing, and I get to a business that Trace or Bridget went back and forth with me. We got the logo right. I finally got the hats in. I love them. Where the hell else are you going to go? I like the price. I like the service. I'm never leaving.
And I have a question about hats because why do I get so many bad ones given to me?
That's a
Can
great.
we answer that? Maybe because I'm
It's
starting to think I'm following your direction of asking yourself, what does the other person want? I'm thinking, wait, what does the listener want? Are they getting as many bad hats as me? So
yeah.
we could
So
do a master class on
here's what I tell people. I think hats are one of the best ways to get your brand out there. I mean, look at me. I got Auburn on right now. I'm walking around town all day today, showcasing Auburn, and people
a
look at it
great
and
hat.
go, "Yeah, yeah, Auburn. Hey, Auburn's in the Sweet 16." And I go, "Yeah, I got a daughter that goes there." I mean, the bottom line is, this is the best advertising the school can get.
Wow.
No difference than yours. I wear a make my cap. I wear a cross on a cap. I wear all kinds of caps. But I tell businesses all the time, you're going to spend 12, 13, 15, $18. Pete's hats, the other the AI, right?
Shout out to ATIG.
ATIG, baby. ATIG, All Things Insurance Group. What a great company. He reached out and did hats. I said, Pete, whatever you do a nice hat. Spend a little bit of money, do a nice cap, because why are you giving away something if you don't want people to wear it and ask questions? So you give a shitty $6 cap away that you ordered in China, that you got a great price on shit. Glenn, I got 1,000 of them for $6 a piece. Okay. How many of them? You know what I did with mine? I wiped with it and I threw it in the trash when you gave it to me. It will never, I have thousands of them that have been in the trash. And what did you do? So now you just burnt $6. I'd rather spend $12 on a nice cap that people go, why do you wear ATIG? I go, oh, it's my buddy, All Things Insurance Group. I just like the hat, dude. I love the color. I love the logo. I just wear it. And look, you're asking me a question about it.
I wouldn't even give a bad hat to my enemy because I don't want them to laugh at me.
Mm-hmm. Plus, that's your brand. You're giving a cheap. You're so how. What do you think about your brand? You think you have a good brand? So you're going to go find the cheapest cap or t-shirt and give that away. That's your brand? Okay. I mean, again, I understand people have limited budgets, but shit, I mean, if then don't do it at all. Just don't do caps.
What do you think about the recognition factor? If I think out loud, somebody said something, "Hey, I like your hat." It's like they're recognizing me.
100%. 100%. I agree. And there's a little fish market, I don't know, 5 minutes from me. He is across the river into Illinois. We're right on the border of Illinois, Missouri. And during Lent, during Fridays, right? Catholics, we're all eating fish, right? We don't eat meat on Fridays, right? And this guy, it's called Babe's Fish Market, and he came in and he ordered some caps, and he did them cool. He did Carolina blue. He did some cool colors, and he did a circle round leather patch. I've got it in my car, and that's one of the 10 hats I keep in my car, and I'll wear it once
Wow.
every couple weeks around. And people go, dude, I love that hat. And they see Babe's Fish Market. It don't mean shit. I don't own Babe's Fish Market. I eat there 6 or 8 times a year, but I like the hat. So I will wear hats from other businesses. People ask me about it. I tell them about Babe's Fish. Oh, is that the one over in Illinois? Yeah. I need to get over there, man. I haven't been there in a while. Who knows what it does for you? But if it's a terrible hat, I would have never worn it. But he came in to pick him up that day, and I said, dude, I want one of those. How much you selling them for? He goes, no, you can have it. I go, no, 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 no. You bought those hats for your employees and to sell them. Here's 25 bucks, 30. Well, just tell me what it is. I want one of those caps. And I don't do that very often.
A lot of our, listeners are business owners. Is there a season where is there from all your years in providing this value, a certain stage in a business where you say that's like when they most often start looking at hats versus when they should start?
That's a
Like a
great
certain size or something?
that's a great question. I mean, the problem is with startups is that you don't have a lot of money for swag like that, right? I would say this, um, people like Mark Perkins, I'm doing their stuff right now, Pivot.
Oh,
Um,
sweet.
yeah, and so the bottom line is if you're going to have a swag store in your company, or you're going to make your employees buy or give them, you're going to do hats and say, hey, the caps cost us 15 bucks. Everything in the swag store is half off. So maybe you supplement it somehow. Just make sure you have good product, because he's got 100. I don't know how many realtors he's got. Let's say he's got
A
100
lot.
realtors. Shit, you want them all wearing your gear all the time. Where they're not, number one, if you give them a bad cap, they're not going to wear it. Ladies need something. You better have a visor. You better have something that a ponytail can go through. Get a plethora of colors. Just because his colors are orange, black, and white doesn't mean everything's got to be orange, black, white. Do some camos, because you got guys that like to hunt and fish. And so
Mm.
hit it all, but do great caps, because people will wear caps. They can't always wear a t-shirt because they may need to dress up a little bit, right? They need a polo or a sport coat or something. But a cap, hell, you can wear a cap with a sport coat, right? Because people do it. You can wear a cap just about. You and I are both wearing caps today. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I
I
think
started wearing them because I can represent our different relationships on the show, and it feels like
100%.
I'm being culture. Like I want to give.
You're part of it, right? You're part of.
Yeah.
And you go, what's BA stand for, right?
Board of advisors. Shout out to Calhoun. We love you on the
100%.
show.
100%. I mean, so to me, that's cool. So I wear a hat because I want somebody to ask me a question about it. And I just had a young lady in here a while ago, one of my interns that's worked for me with the catfish. I'm in the catfish office, by the way, right now. That's what's behind me is my
Nice.
calendar. But she goes, dude, love the hat. And so I've had three people today. I've walked into a convenience store. I was here working, and three people that I've seen today all like this hat.
Wow.
It's
What I want,
corduroy, it's a
yes,
rope hat.
I started originally started putting because I have a lot of them putting on them because well, or just it's, you'll appreciate this. Just in a season of working before, I mean, I'll get up and get to work, and I'm not gonna shower till like hours later.
That's what's
And I'm
great.
not like, it's like work has to happen. All of that's not important. And I'm putting myself under that pressure. I want to talk to you about pressure and accountability. And like the hat was an easy way because I got to do my hair and all this stuff.
Yep,
So I could look somewhat presentable for when
100%.
you're doing 400 podcasts in a year or having all the meetings.
That's that's
So
that's
the hat kind of happened because I was working tremendous amount of time, more than ever.
right. No,
And then I'm getting recognized because of the good ones that I had randomly on. And of course we met chance of fate, and now I really get it.
yeah, no,
So it's total paradigm shift. But I guess like the question that was like about because in the direction of um in your mind, what is work ethic and what does it take? What does it take to build? Because you're building something from scratch again,
right,
and you're already more successful than most that listen to this show. Going 2 years in, you said, and they're 10 years in,
right,
wondering, wait, what did he say earlier?
right.
Now I
Well,
know you've done it multiple times, but so yeah, the question is around work ethic and what it takes, because there's a lot of there's this we live in the era of misinformation.
yeah, and we live in the era of fast. I think TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, all of that has done a disservice to the 95% of us out there that have to work for a living. Yes, you can get rich quickly. You can go viral. You and I've seen all the people that have, and that's awesome. That's the fact that you caught lightning in a bottle. Maybe it's short lived, maybe it lasts a long time, but most of us out there are going to have to strap on the boots and we're going to have to work, whether that's doing 400 podcasts, whether that's, owning baseball teams or hat companies or being realtors or insurance guy, whatever it is, we're going to have to work. And so to me, work ethic is you know I I don't know what I expected when I started Make My Cap, but I wasn't looking for another 40, 50, or 60 hour a week job. What I've gotten is another 40 or 50 or 60 hour a week job, and again, I say that I'm not in there 40 or 50 hours every week like I used to be at Lids, but I show up there. If I'm in town, I show up there every day. I try to show up in the morning for a few hours. We don't open until 10, but I'll get there 8 or 9, stay till 11. And then I come to the catfish office because we're open 11 to 2 during the off season. And then I go back around 2:30 or 3 to make my cap and I'll stay till 6 or 7. We
Mm.
close at 6. Sometimes I'll stay there till we close. And I just, I just feel like an absentee owner or an absentee founder. I don't know. I just can't be one of those. Now, it's cool. I just told you I was going off on a 2.5 week sabbatical, and my crew is, they know I got a couple of jobs. I'll be 60. And part of it's I'm turning 60 April 8th, right? So
Wow.
part of
Congrats.
it's part of it's thank you, and part of it's I'm turning 60. I've been thinking about this for a few years, so it's really been on my mind, and you're turning 60. 60 is the fourth quarter of your life, to me. It really is. Now, will I live past 80? Maybe. I hope, God willing. I don't, that's not under my control, but you're not going to be doing the things at 80 that you can do at 60, 60 that you can do at 40. It's different. Let's be honest. I'm not going to do 20,000 steps. I'll do 20,000 steps a game at the catfish game this year. I did
Wow.
last year, but at 70, can I? At 80, can I? So I'm heading towards, hole number 14 or 15 of life, and I know it. And to me, that's a time to sort of look back, reflect, and look forward. And that's what I'm going to do in this next couple of weeks. I'm going to see some friends, I'm going to see some family. I'm gonna bounce around the state of Florida, maybe a little bit of Georgia and North Carolina, and just just be. I'm gonna look at the ocean. I'm gonna look at the world. I'm gonna look at different places. I got a couple of books I want to read. I don't read.
But
Um,
this is something you're doing after this whole career.
yeah, I'm doing
You
this stuff.
weren't doing that every quarter with an ice bath.
No, 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 no,
I
exactly.
just want to set the
Yeah.
frame.
No, this is the first time I've ever done it. And that's what I mean. The great thing about this time around is I've got great employees that make my cap. And so I can leave and they don't need me. But what I do know is I've got a lot. I got a lot that I can offer them, and I love them, and they work hard for me. And we just March is going to be the best month we've ever had.
Wow.
February was the best month we ever had. Then January's been so we keep upping it. Knock on wood. but I thanked him today. I'm taking him out to eat tomorrow morning before I take off on my trip. And I just think those things are important. And I'm only as good as those three people there. If they're not very good, I'm not very good. So nothing's changed since 1994, 1995 when I started Lids. 30 years later, nothing's really changed. It's a startup, it's new, but it's all about the people that I've hired. It's about their work ethic and how hard they work, how dedicated they are, how much they care, and then how much time am I willing to put into them? Am I just starting this hoping to collect a paycheck? Because if that's the case, there won't be any paychecks to collect.
Mm.
You got to give, you got to put in if you're going to get back out. And I don't care when you do it, you know? So,
What wisdom would you give to our listeners that are in their 20s, 30s of what their expectation should be of themselves, of work ethic?
but
The entrepreneurs that are listening, or the exec, those that are listening that want to be that executive, they don't necessarily need to start the company, but they
right.
want to be they want to be successful.
Quit,
What's your
quit,
message to them?
yeah, quit watching Facebook and TikTok and all the how to get rich in 7 steps real quick. I mean, you're gonna get out of it what you put in it. Be all in. Be all in. And you need to, the thing I'd say is if you have a family and you're an entrepreneur, make sure your family knows you're all in. That
Hmm.
doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they come in second all the time, but by God, they will come in second sometimes. And sometimes they'll come in third. And you're gonna travel and don't miss the things that you shouldn't miss, but do know that you're going to miss some. And they need to know that. Your wife needs to know, your husband needs to know how important this is. Your kids need to know that you love them.
But
But
why? Why might someone miss something?
like miss an event.
No, I mean, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, why can't I have it all? I'm listening to this show.
Right. Right.
I,
Well, it's,
hey, I'm a millennial,
I
Gen
don't,
Z, whatever. Like, why can't I have it all? I want the success too. Why?
I think,
Why do I have to choose?
yeah, I think it's impossible. I can tell you what, maybe I'm just not very smart, but I know a lot in this town of Cape Girardeau, there's 20 entrepreneurs, and so many of them already sold for tens and twenties and hundreds of millions of dollars. Some of them are still working, even though they're worth all that. I mean, I got guys that are worth, a quarter of a billion that are putting in as many hours as they did before they were worth nothing. The bottom line is, I, and I'm not saying it's all healthy. I'm not saying that, going all in is always all healthy. You got to find a work-life balance. I get it. And Mark Perkins agrees with me 1,000%. I sometimes think that he's on a little bit too far on the work side versus the balance side, but I get it. I get it. And so I think you gotta, if you're gonna be successful, you're gonna have to be more on the work side versus the balance side for a while. And then you'll figure that part of it out. And you figure, you know what, for me, I go home. I know it's just my wife and I, we're empty nesters. She likes to watch her shows at night from 7 to 9, 7 to 10. We're going out tonight with my son and his girlfriend. Um, we make sure we go out to dinner a couple nights a week. It's 7 o'clock. I can still work till 6. Um, I can, if she wants to have dinner at home, we do it. We'll do the dishes and then she'll watch her shows. I'll go in my office. She goes to bed at 10. I snore anyway. She'd rather me not come to bed till after she's asleep. So I get 3 or 4 hours. I have found times to be busy, get a lot of my work done, and not change what's important in my life. Now, when I was young and when I was starting a company, that wasn't always the case. What I didn't know is I didn't communicate that well enough. Communicate that right off the bat. How important is this? If you're a newly married couple and one of you is an entrepreneur, the other one needs to know how important that is. Maybe you're both working. I promise you, Mark Perkins is partner, girlfriend, I know they're not married, but whatever, she's a sweetheart. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
and
hard worker too.
yeah, she understands exactly what Mark is and who he is. That's why she loves him. That's why she gives him a space. And I think any successful business entrepreneur has the backing of somebody
You
very
just gave it
good.
to me. This is why we're winning. I married the COO.
Yeah, that's it. There you go. You married the COO. That helps. I mean, but again, your wife knows what makes you tick. right? Yeah, you know what? I could go do something and make less money if money doesn't matter, and I could be home and that doesn't matter. But if I'm not happy, if I'm not fulfilled, if I'm not getting everything out of myself, then how do I give? I can tell you this: I've always given 100% to anybody that's worked for me.
Mm,
Always giving 100% to my kids. So the person that's never getting 100% is me, and that's why for the next couple of weeks I'm taking off. And I told my wife I'm gonna have some me time. I'm gonna put down this phone and I'm gonna check messages once in a blue moon, or I might text the two or three people that matter that day and go, catfish or make my cat the people that count on me and say I'm bugging out the next 48 hours. I will not be on that phone. Figure it out. And they don't need me anyway, but just in
mm.
case there'd be something that they go, you know what, we're going to leave Glenn alone for the next couple of days because he said he wasn't going to answer it anyway. So for me, I need some me time. I don't even know what this looks like, what it means, but I'm 60 and I'm looking forward to it and it's funny. I went to breakfast with a guy this morning and he gave me an idea. He said, "Man, you ought to journal this." I hadn't even thought about that. And I like writing. I'm still the old school. I like to have a notebook and I like to write stuff. I'm a
Yeah.
notebook writer guy. And I try to use spreadsheets and shit more than I used to. But um, I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to buy a notebook and I'm going to journal this trip because I what journaling does is it slows you down. You have to intentionally sit down somewhere
Mm.
and write. And so, is that a coffee shop? Is that lunch? Is that while the sun's setting while I'm sitting in my car somewhere in Florida or Georgia? I don't know where it is, but I'm going to try to take like a half an hour a day and just journal what's happened and what I think's going to happen and then do it again and then go back and for no other reason, if somebody goes, "How was the trip?" Maybe I put it together, maybe I put it together in some thing and I let AI rewrite it or I don't know. So who knows? But I mean, I think
Love
it'd be
it.
kind of cool. So I'm gonna do it.
You mentioned your team a handful of times. How do you recognize your team? How have you recognized your people? 'Cause the books, the business books talk about the importance of
It is.
recognition. How did you actually do it? How do you do it?
I, you know what? I think being present every day is recognition. I think when I walk in the door and say, "Hey, good morning. Hey, how was your weekend? How you guys doing? Hey," they all bring their lunch in, right? Hey, who I'm buying, and I always got to tell them a week ahead of time so they don't bring anything in. All right, next Tuesday I'm buying. What's everybody want? And I go pick it up, or somebody else goes picks it up, or we have it delivered. Um, you know, I need to. It's such a small group. I haven't intentionally sat down and had meetings. I've had a couple. I need to probably do that more intentionally before the store opens. No, 30 minutes, make sure you take time, shoot the shit. That's why we're going to breakfast tomorrow. It's not really a meeting, but and we're away from the work, we're away from their home. And,
Mm.
so I don't know. I consistently just try to talk to my team, see how they're doing, ask about their spouse, ask about their kids, what's going on, tell them about. I'm an open book, probably too open, right? And so they know me, they know about me, and they're excited. They're as excited for me to go as I am to go, and I
Really? Wow.
and I think for all of them, you know, I don't, and it's funny, Beth said it today. I said, man, you don't realize how much stuff you do until you try to get away from it. And then you're going, man, God, this, and this. And Beth goes, no, especially you need to get away. Cause she knows I run a baseball team and during the summer for 10 weeks, I'll be spending 50 or 60 hours a week doing that. And then I'll also make my cap.
Wow.
The 80-hour weeks for 10 weeks during the summer. And I will be over at the lake and I will be down to Auburn, and I will be officiating a wedding in Mexico in April. I got I'll be doing all kinds of stuff, but I pray and I thank God that I have the energy and the health to do all those things because I don't know. I try every day to make a difference somewhere. Is it one person that I sat and talked to for an hour and a half gave a little advice to, had a good conversation with? Is it a text message I sent to a baseball coach a while ago telling him, "Hey, man, great start to the season. I'm proud of you." A guy that's at my alma mater, you know, intentionally and unintentionally, I just try to make a difference. And I'm telling you, I think I'm okay at it. I think I can be better at it. I do think it's got to be intentional. You intentionally change, intentionally reach out to your brothers and sisters
Mm.
more often. Intentionally reach out to people that you haven't talked to. That's why I appreciate you. You know, every once in a while I get a text from you going, "Hey, what's going on?" That's important. You got 1,000 podcasts you've done. You've met 10,000 people, and once in a blue moon, I get a text from you. Man, you're good at it. You get it. I think that's something that even if you've never done it, start doing it. You know.
Last question here is all yourself included, all the real entrepreneurs that have done amazing things, right? Not just online people we watch. What would you say drives entrepreneurs? Is it the money? Is it something else? Is it
Uh,
status? Is it recognition? What do you think from
I'll
the
bet.
conversations you had?
Yeah, I've talked to people. I know a lot of entrepreneurs. Um, and money is always something that, being self-sustaining, being able, you know, I can't give if I don't have. And so to me, I like giving. I'm not a very good receiver. I don't like getting gifts or recognition. I'd rather give that. Um, and so, when you have, when you have made it and you've made money, you can then share that wealth with those less fortunate, or charities or foundations or churches or schools or whatever. So that to me is one of the perks of being successful. And I don't know that I'd call myself successful, but you know, doing some things. I think money is a motivating factor, but I think if you ask anybody that's made money and they're honest with you, especially later in life, they'll tell you money doesn't mean anything. My health, my family, my friends. And I think the older people get, the more that hits them. Money was never the motivating factor for me. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I always wanted to own my own business. I always wanted to, I thought I was pretty good at it, and I wanted to mentor other people. I wanted to help other people. I go speak at classes and at different organizations. I don't get paid to do that. People tell me all the time, dude, you should be paid. You should speak
You
and get
could,
paid.
oh yeah.
And I thought about it, and I got people that are out there doing it, and they make $10,000, $20,000 to speak at places. I got a lot of doctors and friends and different people that do it. I don't know. To me, I just enjoy passing some along. Again, I spoke to some SEMO students the other day. There were only 8 kids in the class. It was a 15-person class. About half of them showed up on a Friday morning early. But the 8 people that were there, I plopped my butt in a desk, and you know what? All 8 of them made great eye contact. They wrote notes. They asked questions, and so I don't know. Maybe if one of those people take anything away from it, pardon, the phone hadn't rang the whole time. I love it. But 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 if one person takes something away from that, that's a big deal for me, because I know when I was in school, come on, I'm gonna hang that phone up.
No, it's real. It's all good. This is
You
the
know,
real.
it's the real deal, right? I got
Yeah,
headphones.
it's the real.
I'm gonna have to check the messages. But if I know when I was in college, there were teachers that Jack Starrett, he was one of the professors. He also owned a business. A lot of the things he said to me, I still remember. That's
Wow.
50, that's 45 years ago. So I still think I still think not all kids get everything from here. They
Yeah.
don't get it all from Chat GPT. Some kids truly want interaction. And so I don't know. You asked, your question is what are the reasons entrepreneurs do it? I think there's a lot. I mean, self, being self-employed is awesome because you can call your own shots. I think it's important. You can create that time. You can do that. If you work for somebody else, that's not always a given, right? You have a schedule and you have to show up and you have to be there. So that was always important to me. Money was never a motivating factor. I love the freedom of having my own deal, but I also wanted to teach others. I hope that if the 10,000 people that work for me at Lids over the 25 years, if they listen to this, I would love to know how many of those people took something away. And I would venture to say a lot. I don't know if a lot is 100. I don't know if a lot's 1,000. I just took Caroline Jensen is a good friend of mine. She worked for me worked with me from 2002 till about 2018, 15, 16, 17 years at Lids, right? And she left Lids a little before I did. She lives out in New Jersey. We text back and forth, you know, once a month. She's got a lake house. We kind of talk about that, and she goes, "Man, we got to get together." We met in Nashville intentionally. She flew into Nashville on a Thursday 2 weeks ago. I drove to Nashville, and for 48 hours, it was just she and I. And
Wow.
dude, we had lunch, we had dinners, we listened to live music. It was the SEC tournament. We bullshitted with people. We went to 7 different bars that were all pop up new in the last 5 years, and we got some really good for your soul time, right? And we were checking messages, and I was making sure I wasn't too out of touch. But for 48 hours, I intentionally met with somebody that was a big part of my life, and I still think those things are important. And not everybody can do that, but you can pick up a phone. I picked up a phone the other day. One of my old Jimmy McManus, the kid's 35 years old. He is going to be, he is the number 2 guy at the biggest gun range company in the country.
Wow.
And I'm trying to think of what it is. It used to be point, shoot, point blank, or shoot, fire, aim. And
Mm.
it's now called um, um, Guns USA or Gun Club USA. I can't remember. We talked, but this kid was brilliant. He came to us when he was 25 years old, one of the smartest kids, and he was
Wow.
a sponge, dude. Sponge. At 35 years old, I bet you this kid's, I don't know what he's knocking down, but he will be worth millions if he already isn't at 35. He's got 3 kids.
Wow.
Alex is his wife. She's awesome. He sent me pictures of him. But this kid, I mean, I loved. I mentored him along with some other people mentoring him for years. And this kid's gone out, and you know what he said to me when he reached out? He goes, "I want to thank you for all you did for me." And I ain't done anything for this kid for 5 or 6 years, but I mean that is. You ask why I became an entrepreneur when kids like that who will be more successful than I was, Mark Perkins, Jimmy McManus, I can name 100 of them, are more successful than me. It makes me feel good that I had just a little bit I played a little bit of a part in that. And I think that's for me, the best part about being an entrepreneur is you get to affect a lot of people's lives if you're successful.
Mic drop. If you're listening to this episode, I challenge you to re-listen. Go listen to season 36, episode 427. And man, we got to get you back. I'll work some things out with your publicist and we'll get
Yep,
that.
love it. Love it. We
Let's
still got
make
to
it
do
happen.
we got to do the one in Ohio with Perkins. He's got like the studio of all studios. If you guys like a
Oh
month or
man.
two, give me some notice. I will come over for 2 days and hang out.
I love that. That is shout out to Mark Perkins with
Yep.
Pivot. If you haven't heard him on the Culture Matters podcast, type in his name. He's on here. He's amazing, and you're damn right. We need to do that. And I want to make sure our listeners, where can they, if they want to be a part of Make My Cap,
Yep.
and
Yep.
they actually are watching this on YouTube and
Yep.
see and are inspired, how do they get into
Yeah.
contact with you? And
Yeah. Hit me on, it's Glenn at makemycap.com. So just
awesome.
makemycap.com. Yeah. Hit me, email me. We'd love to do hats for you. I'd love to talk to you. I mean, heck, if you're an entrepreneur and you got questions,
Yeah,
whatever.
reach out to Glenn. He'll answer.
Yep. I am. That's one thing I am. I'm accessible. So you know it. But man, I appreciate you having me on. It means a lot. Uh, I can't wait. So episode 1000 is when, in August?
August 28th. If I don't you know, uh, at this pace, if I don't let myself down and let everybody else, now it's alive too, right?
Right,
But
right, right,
yes,
right,
based
right.
on the work, we should be at 1,000 on August 28th. And
That
today is
will
March 25th. So
that will be incredible, dude. Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm very proud of it. And that's just, you know, more to come, right?
I love it. I love
You
it. I
can't get to
love it.
2,000 without 1,000.
Can't do it. You gotta get to 1,000 first, man.
I always appreciate you. And if you're listening to this, get in contact with Glenn. Go listen to episode 427. Share this with a friend that really needs a culture shock. Wake up out of their slumber if they're a leader. And we will see you next time on the Culture Matters podcast. Thank you, my friend.
All right, brother. You take care.